If you like talking,
Women.
Ladies,
men,
topic,
Conversations.
and occasional uninformed politics,
multiple talking women is for you.
Hit it!
Ladies and gentlemen, childrens of all ages, peoples of all ages, welcome to the Multiple Talking Women podcast. I'm Lana Brown, one of your hosts.
I'm another one of your hosts, Felicity Bramblebush. Welcome, children of the world.
Okay, this is the producer, Paula Gherkin. I don't think all children should be listening to this. We say swear words. We get into a lot of specific, information about anatomy. So I don't know if we need to be inviting children.
They need to know.
Well, that's why I'm on the show, to explain and balance out any crass thing you might say.
Okay, great.
Should we get to our beautiful guest?
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. I mean, our
Introduce her.
guest, you've seen her. So she's currently on 2 shows, which is insane.
She can't be stopped.
2 shows.
No, and,
How many shows are we on?
well, we're on this.
Well, it's not a show.
And her list of credits is otherworldly. I would say, in addition to Hacks, which is right now, she's most known for her role as a female mechanic in the town of Stars Hollow on Gilmore Girls. Everybody welcome, please, Rose Abdoo.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Is it really?
It really is.
Okay.
This is a lovely studio.
Did you have
Listeners
anything
need
else to do
know.
today?
Not really, no. I had a blood draw at
Uh-huh.
8:30, and
Okay.
this was the second thing on my list to
All right.
get.
Did you have some sugar?
I didn't have anything yet.
Oh, okay.
I had nothing.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Well, we
If
should
you
get
need
to
a
it.
little
may-
snack, we
I-
have some next door.
Okay, perfect.
Did you have to fast?
No, I didn't.
Oh, good. Okay.
So perhaps I was supposed to, but
Yes.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
I feel good though. I feel awake. I haven't
Good.
had coffee. I haven't had anything.
Are you a little lightheaded?
No, not really.
You know
Stop
what
trying
they
to push
say?
her to not feel well. She's fine.
Blood, somebody told me once, it's good to lose a little blood every now and then because it kicks in your body to make new blood.
There
Is
you
this why
go.
they used leeches?
It is.
Right. In medieval times, didn't they have bloodlettings? A
Ooh, they
bloodletting?
did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ooh, and
Mhm.
leeches.
Oh.
So you said something earlier, and I want to double down on it. I did check out your IMDb. We don't do a lot of research for the show, mostly because
Why would
I'm
you?
not super interested. But I did check your IMDb because I was curious, and I have to admit I can't make a ton of eye contact with you because I feel like you've got one of the bigger IMDb's than a lot of our guests.
Yes.
And
That's so flattering. Thank
well,
you.
I mean, I just feel like maybe I feel like we could finally learn something today.
Yes,
Do you know what I
because,
mean?
we want to make it as actors, and it's been not happening.
Well, I know that you're musical theater actors.
Well,
are you
we
not?
tried, and we
Oh.
were basically
we
in the
were-
background.
we
We were
were
Jellicle
rats.
Cats, which is the background cats.
See, I've never seen Cats.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't rush out and try to see it. You don't need to.
And we could perform something for you.
Yeah, we could perform something
potentially.
later.
Oh, I would
Um,
love
yeah.
that.
I can't believe you haven't said this first thing yet. Can you say it?
I can
Because
say
I'm losing my mind over it.
the glowing emollients of your
Mhm.
skins.
Oh
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
I mean, I'm going to guess you're over 30, if that's okay to say.
I'm so flattered.
But you look. I don't understand what are you doing? Tell us everything you're
Well,
doing to your
I
face.
drink a lot of water,
Okay.
but I'm
Mm.
I think my mother would want me to tell you that it's because of her, that-
And
that it's my genetics.
That
I
is
think
genetic. Well, I
'cause
think
she
that's
just
probably
turned
true.
97,
no.
Goodness.
and I am going to be 62
No.
on Thanksgiving. I just learned last night that my birthday will be
Falls
on
on Thanksgiving.
falls on Thanksgiving.
You're a turkey baby.
I'm a turkey baby.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
Not every year, but this year is another one of my Thanksgiving
Right.
birthdays.
So
Tur-
what
and-
do you use to baste your
That's
turkey?
what I was gonna
Exactly.
say. Good job. I was going to say that.
and I
glistening
don't like
turkey.
turkey.
Oh, you
I
don't.
don't.
That's
Okay.
okay.
I will
What
not
do you
be eating
normally
it.
have?
On Thanksgiving?
Yeah, instead
Do you
of
know that
turkey.
one of my favorite Thanksgivings, my birthday was also on Thanksgiving that year. We went to Solvang. Do you know that little town?
Of
I do.
course.
I've never been,
And I
but I've
went to
heard
a
it's fun.
Bar in Solvang and had
Like Sideways.
nachos.
Oh,
It was
That's
my
fun.
favorite Thanksgiving meal, I have to say.
Oh,
Nachos
okay.
are
Well,
great.
Thanksgiving is. Some people say it's problematic. I don't see why.
wow.
Of course you don't. You don't have any. You know that the Native Americans were here first, and then we came in and said, "Hey,
That's
this-
what they say.
No, it's. I mean, it's pretty documented. Actually,
Yeah,
It's-
it's
there's a
very
lot of
Well,
evidence
I don't know
for
what
it.
documents you're reading.
Speaking
All
of ethnicities, what is Abdoo as the last name? And also, do you have, because I am almost every ethnicity, and I can see some different things, some beautiful veins and vines.
Thank
of
you.
things.
Veins and vines.
Thank
Yes.
you. I like being described as veins and vines. Abdoo is a Lebanese name.
Okay.
So my father's father was born in Lebanon,
Okay.
and my father was born in Detroit, Michigan. But
Mhm.
my mother is Dominican, so she was born in the Dominican Republic.
Oh,
So I'm
wow.
half Arabic and half, well, not really half though, because I had the, what is it called, ancestry?
Yes.
based on?
Yes.
And I am from Cameroon, Senegal, the Bantu peoples, Northern Africa. I'm from Italy. I had 23% Italian.
Wow.
So I was mostly Italian and African, and then a little bit Middle Eastern, and then a tiny bit Dominican.
Wow.
Wow.
So you're
How
gonna
does that make you feel?
feel like you're just like her now. You're
Yeah.
gonna. This is all we're gonna
so-
hear
Yeah,
about.
I think
we're-
we're related. I
we're
think we might be
related. Okay.
related.
we
yeah.
are
Maybe?
for
Yeah,
sure.
I feel
That's
like
very exciting.
Yes.
I love that to have all that running through your veins.
And yet she
Veins
doesn't
and
put
vines.
she doesn't put S's where they don't belong. So that's interesting.
Well,
It's
she
just-
will eventually.
You think?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
I'll learn.
Okay.
don't
All right. Let's get into it because I'm always so curious how people got to do this job.
Right.
You know, these two. Their reason is that came late in life. They tried to do it.
Late in life.
Well, you're older, and then they just and it's desperation for attention. This is why they're doing it.
But I want products like bags.
And also
What's
products.
it-
Oh, yes.
We're
I
here
would
for the
think.
perks.
The
Yeah.
perks, and also you
Oh, so
want
do you want to have a line of products, or you just want to get
Both.
swag?
Mhm.
Oh,
But I
I
wanna
see.
get
I
free
see.
stuff
Free
first.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
and they
Free
also
stuff.
want people to say, "Good job, you did it." Like
Right.
they need
Attaboys. They call it
Validation.
They need
attagirls.
some
Validation.
validation.
Attaboys
They
and
need
attagirls. I
attagirls.
see.
Sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
That
So
makes
what
sense.
what got you into it? Where you grew up in Detroit,
Michigan? Yes.
Michigan.
I wanted to be a tour guide growing up. I
Oh.
wanted to sit, so I would take the seat belt from my father, the back seat of my father's car, and I would pretend it was my microphone, and be like, "On our left is the mall, and on our right, car dealership."
Had
I
you
know.
gone on a tour at some point as a
I
child?
think they took me to maybe like a Disney. There was some kind of Disney tour, Jungle Land, Jungle
And you
whatever.
Uh-huh.
tour.
That's a
loved it.
that's a
And
And there was
respectable
something about that
profession.
tour
Yes,
guide.
everyone had to listen and pay attention to the tour guide.
Mhm.
The tour guide had the microphone
Oh.
in the front of the boat, the front of the bus. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was
Okay.
like, "This is for me."
All right. Now, did you have a big family?
No, just my
Okay,
sister,
okay, that
14
go-
months older than me, and she was really into and still is beading. So she had a loom, and she would bead in the back seat of my father's Oldsmobile. Tiny little seed beads that she would spill all the time, and we'd have to pick them up
And you
from
have to
the.
hunt in the car for
Mhm.
them.
Those
car
things
floor.
go for a lot.
Yes, she
now
would bead
on
necklaces,
Etsy.
and I mean, she's young, and I had the microphone, so I was tour
But you had a
guiding and she
captive
was beading.
audience
I had a
there.
captive
I have
audience.
to say, we've had a number of successful guests from Detroit.
We sure have.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fun.
So
have-
there's something,
something
in
in
the
store.
Yeah,
water.
something's
Yeah,
brewing
that's
over
really
there.
Cool.
Brewing.
That's fun.
But I
in
think it's
Detroit.
interesting that so there must have been some creative cultivation going on in your family that your sister's making beads, you're giving tours, like there's something creative going on there.
And
Why
my
do you think
mother
that came from?
beaded gowns for people.
Whoa.
Oh,
My
wow.
mother
There you
was
go.
a
That's a direct
dressmaker,
connection.
and she would bead. She saw a guy on a local morning show in Detroit, and she knew that he made gowns for like the dignitary. Well, we call
Sure.
Aretha Franklin, of course, the Detroit
Mhm.
dignitary.
Mhm.
He had beaded gowns for Aretha Franklin, so she cold called him.
Good for her.
My mother figured out how to call, and they ended up working together. And she beaded a gown for Barbara Bush back in the day, and Aretha Franklin. And she was a really.
This gives us an idea to just make.
Yeah.
Well, you did try once. They called Judd Apatow, and now he has a restraining order.
Mhm.
Wow.
So you can't just go calling people. You can't get numbers from because they took it from Kristen Wiig's phone. 'Cause she didn't have his
Oh, I
number.
see. Well, that was
And
kind of
then-
smart though to get it.
It
From her
is, but
phone.
they were crazy.
All
They
right.
got
Well,
crazy about
you know,
it.
you have to have some guts. And you
Yeah,
have
you
to
have
I
to
guess
do what you have to do.
some
Now,
nuts.
I want to hear. So this is a cool childhood, and so when did it start becoming like I want to be an actor?
Oh, I went to Southfield High,
Okay.
and then I was worked in the high school radio station.
oh,
So there it was all guys.
Like
and me.
you got yourself in front of a microphone is what you did.
I did, and I was
Uh-huh.
doing headlines. And so then I
Mhm.
thought, this is it. I'm going to be a newscaster.
Oh.
So then I got to
like
Michigan
me.
State, and at the time it was 46,000 students. The registration lines were so long that I was like, I can't wait in line for these classes that I needed to get
Mm.
for my telecommunications degree. So I looked over at the theater lines, and they were so short.
Oh,
And that's how it happened.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
amazing.
I just kept I was like, well, my start of the career was my impatience for waiting in line
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I needed to get to lunch.
I would say
Oh,
that's
I
the
love
universe.
lunch.
Felicity would say that's Jesus Christ.
No, it's absolutely
Ah.
Jesus Christ.
But either
holding your hand
way,
over there.
there are forces that
Oh.
maybe,
That maybe pushed you in that direction.
Pushed me in there.
And so then you're taking theater classes.
Right. And I loved imitating people as a kid, but it was
Mm.
like there's no one in my family who was like, I don't have a showbiz family.
Mhm.
Right.
And they're not particularly funny. My
Mhm.
mother's funny, but my aunts were all funny on accident. But I had 4 aunts that never married and they all lived together in the same house.
Oh, there
Oh
you
my
go.
God, It's
So
like-
there was
Is it
that.
fairy godmothers?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
They
They are
were.
very godmothers.
They were.
Yeah.
So then they'd
Oh.
all come to my shows. They were all under 5 feet tall.
Oh.
They're literal fairies.
They were.
Oh my goodness.
And my friend Michael Grady used to say, your aunts laugh. It's as though they're attached by elastic. Because when
Wow.
one starts, they all like, they were sort of like little
Yeah.
puppets.
Somebody, you got to write them as a show.
I do.
You got to get a bunch of under 5 foot actors.
I'm 5'1".
I'm looking at
Pretty
one
close.
right
in.
now.
Pretty close.
You're in.
I could do it.
Those were the Lebanese aunties.
Oh.
So then I did plays, so many plays. And then I had a friend, Bill. He was a kindergarten friend that was at Michigan State. His sister and my sister were best friends in kindergarten. He said to me, you should go to Chicago. I said,
Oh.
why? He goes, because there's a theater called Second City and there's a lot of guys, but there's not a lot of women doing it. At the time, it
Oh.
was like 1988 or
Mhm.
Yeah.
something,
Mhm.
86.
Women were late to the game.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I went mostly because even though I'm from Detroit, I didn't know how to drive.
Mhm.
Wow.
So I never learned to drive. Well, I learned, but I wasn't
Because
good
it's
at
this Detroit is the city of wheels, the city that drives.
That's
What is
right.
it?
Motor City.
Motor City.
Motor
Yeah, the
City.
Motor
Okay.
City.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I went to Chicago because I thought they have a great mass transit system.
Mhm.
And then I auditioned for Second City, and then that's when it really
Wow.
started.
Wow.
So how long were you at Second City?
At Second City from 1988 to 1991. Not that long.
Was that I've just done a little reading. Okay, don't freak out that I know this. Were you there with like Chris Farley?
Yes,
or-
he was in my
Okay.
first touring company.
Wow.
We toured together, and Ian Gomez was in my first touring company,
Wow.
and Steve Colbert.
No way.
Yeah, and
Holy
Amy
moly.
Sedaris.
Wow, wow,
That
wow.
was
What
my
a
first
group.
company.
And you toured around and
We toured. They took us to ski towns, and that's a place I
Ski
would never.
towns.
I would never have gone skiing. A Detroit girl, like there were people. There was a lot of skiing in Michigan, but I was not one of those people. And we were in we'd go to Crested Butte, Colorado, and
Oh.
Sun Valley,
Oh.
Idaho, and it was the big ski tour, 20-day ski tour. So I remember thinking the audience is like you'd get an audience in Vail that had just been skiing all day. So it's 9:00 at
It's
night.
such an
And now the
interesting-
Second City, and they'd be like, I mean, it was really like, it was I think it was a challenge because the oxygen is low, number one.
Sure.
Mhm.
So you have to get it. They showed us in the wings, oh, here's the oxygen if you need it. I was like, who's going to need that? And you really do get
need it.
lightheaded. Yeah, it
Oh.
was kind
And
of
you're doing
crazy.
improv sets?
Yes,
For skiers?
and scripted stuff that
Mhm.
had been passed down from other Second City casts. That's what you do when you're in the touring company. Is you're sort of like cast in shows that like Shelley Long made famous. It's all
Uh-huh.
it's all
Yeah.
sketches that
I think that's so
people who
interesting
had-
because we have a lot of groundlings
Yeah.
folks on, and
Mhm.
you do your own sketch.
Right.
Nobody does your
Mhm.
sketch.
Oh, right.
So it's very different.
Oh,
in
very
Second
different,
City.
right? Yeah. No, you've taken sketches that were like, we did one that Ed Asner made popular.
Wow.
They go into the
But it's
archives.
like real best of stuff, though,
Best
right?
of, exactly. And then
yeah.
you get to do an
Fun.
improvisation also.
Yeah. Okay.
And
that
I read
was fun.
Bob Odenkirk's book because we interviewed Bob
Oh,
Odenkirk.
yeah.
right.
And he
I worked with
was he
him, too.
around that?
Yeah.
Yes, I did a show called Happy Happy Good Show, which really is not the most creative title, but it was Robert Smigel, Bob Odenkirk,
Oh, wow.
Conan O'Brien,
Oh wow.
and myself, and a girl named Debbie Jennings and Hugh Callaley. And I did that before I was hired at Second City. I got to do that. We did it in Chicago and then here at the Beverly Hills Playhouse.
Wow.
And I remember there was a sketch called The Kennedy Baby, and it was Conan O'Brien in a diaper. And he was the Kennedy baby. And Bob Odenkirk played a toothbrush salesman. And I was a lady he was selling, and I had a huge crush on him, so I had to pretend make out with him on
Ooh.
stage. Yeah.
It's funny you say that about the title because his book is called Comedy, Comedy, Comedy,
Oh,
Drama.
Uh-huh.
okay. Well,
But can
right.
I circle or shall I say snowplow back
Mm.
real quick? What was it like working with Chris Farley? Because he's such an
oh my gosh,
icon.
he had the audience in the palm of his hand
Oh.
at all times.
Mhm.
And he, I was I call it in my circle of friends, I say, I'm the Poindexter.
Ah.
And that word to me means like we have to run our tops and bottoms. You have to set your props. You have to get to
Mhm.
the venue and
Yeah.
know
This
where
is
the
ver-
exits
very
and
similar
entrances
Very
are.
Paula,
Very,
very
yes,
Paula.
very
Very
much
similar.
that way.
Mhm.
So I would, Chris, did you run your lines? Do you know your thing? And I was real, and he was like off just doing stuff and dancing with the plants and just doing stuff. And he was perfect when the lights would go up.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
He didn't need it.
Didn't need it.
Yeah.
It was a natural.
It was shocking to me. Like
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, this is going to be a disaster. He doesn't know the first thing about what we're even doing in this sketch.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
perfection.
Now, did you ever dip your toe into the SNL pot? Like, did you ever think, maybe I want to audition for that, or maybe I want to do
No,
that?
it's so weird. I was cast in a show in Hamilton, Ontario called Second City Live
Mm.
by the producers of SCTV. And the summer that they came from SNL to look at the casts in Chicago, I was in Canada
Oh,
doing
wow.
it. So then it kind of passed me by, and I just never really.
Yeah.
Well, I
ended up doing
probably.
it.
I mean,
Well,
the whole.
I mean, you did all right.
yeah.
Well, there were a lot of sketch shows. Like if you count sketch show auditions, I think I counted at one point 28 of them.
Oh,
good
But it
God.
was really so much. And then I remember one for ABC that ended up being, I think maybe turned into the Dana Carvey show.
Oh.
It got down to me and the girl that got it. And we had to bring characters. But I remember the audition was like, now I'm in LA and you're sitting outside in a comedy club parking lot
Mm.
by a dumpster
Yeah.
and trading off the mic pack that's been on somebody else's sweaty
Yeah.
character.
Not
character
quite as
body.
glamorous
And
as
everyone's
we
like,
would
No,
please,
it was
please,
like-
can I?
Yeah,
Pick
it was
me,
like,
pick
what
me.
are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
this just seemed like,
Mhm.
ugh.
And usually we ask this question more towards the end, but it strikes me like for someone who has had such an incredibly illustrious career, in the moments like where you say it was down to me and someone
Mhm.
else, how do you kind of get over that? Because
Um,
for us, when it doesn't go our way, it's very bad.
Well, I'm not
It's
leaving my.
weeks. It's weeks.
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
building
so-
them back up.
Well, I wasn't happy about it. And I did get a call from one of the producers saying that I should tone down the ethnicity, something I didn't talk about for
Oh.
years, that I had too many ethnic characters. And I
Oh.
was like, really? That I was hurt by that, I have
Yeah.
to say, honestly.
Well, of course.
And I felt, and I remember having a dream. This I've never. You two really know how to. You three really know how to get the personal things out of people. 'cause
for your lips
I'm
to
about
the
to
headline,
I'm
Dilly.
about to
Yeah.
tell you. I would have dreams that these producers that I had to audition in front of were digging through my suitcase and pulling out all my underwear. So that to me is like
Yes.
psychologically is like
Yeah.
you've looked through my most intimate
Yes.
moments
Yeah.
and have rejected them.
Yeah,
would
yes,
love
you're
to get-
sifting through
yeah.
the parts of me that are the
Right,
most
you're
intimate
touching
and
my
close to me.
underwear.
Here's
Yes.
what I
Yes.
want.
Not thought about that
eth-
in
real
decades.
ethnic characters.
There you go.
It's
Yeah,
not
they're
like
from your
you're-
background.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Here's
right.
what
They
I
were all
want.
based
I want a
on real
list of
people.
names.
Yeah, I know.
I
Yeah.
want to
That's
egg
right.
their
Yeah.
homes. I want to stalk
Oh.
them. I just
One
want
of
to
them
do.
was the head of ABC for years.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
boy.
doesn't
Of course.
surprise me.
Anyway.
This surprises no one.
Anyways.
I am shocked though how many sketch comedy shows there were for
There were
there was
so
like
many.
a Ben Stiller show.
Yeah,
is that
there were
right?
so many. And
so
so
many.
many pilots that never made it.
Right.
Because I
Mm.
counted at one point 28 sketch auditions that I did here.
I wonder
and
if
was
that's
like,
just
wow.
SNL was taking off, and other people were like, we want to do that too.
I
We want to do that
guess.
too.
Yeah, there was She TV
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
yeah, I got down. I would get like far in the process and then never get. So I was like, this isn't my destiny is
Yeah.
to do my character.
So, but you had a reputation as a sketch comedian.
I guess I
So
did.
how did you bridge?
Yeah. What was your? Well, can I even? I don't know. I
Please.
don't know if this relates to that. But what was your first role? I'm always curious. Because everyone's trying to do this thing, and obviously you're making some money at the touring company, and you're
Right.
making. But when do
But
you
not
get
a
a role?
lot.
Not a lot.
No.
When do you get a role where you're like, okay, maybe this can be my living?
Oh, well, at
Does
Second
that
City
take a while?
on main stage, then you toured forever and then got cast in one of the companies. So that was great to have like a steady job. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
then I remember like the Bulls were on fire in Chicago at the time. So there would be games. So it was like the greatest job ever because on a night where there was a Bulls game, the audience, we weren't going to get an audience. So you'd still get paid, but get to go watch the game.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
awesome.
That's fun.
It was really fun.
That's very
But we
cool.
had steady audiences because the concierge in, all the hotels in
Sure.
Chicago
Mm.
funnel all the tourists to Second
Yeah.
City. So it
Yeah.
was like, it wasn't like, oh, we're only playing to a couple of people. It was really full,
Yeah.
almost all, other than the Bulls winning. But it
Mm.
was super fun. And then I was working in Chicago. And then what happened? Oh, there was a movie, My Best Friend's Wedding came
Ah.
to film there.
Mhm.
And they wanted a seamstress with a foreign
Mm.
accent. So I was like, this is great. I'll
That's
do
your
my
mother.
So I auditioned, and PJ Hogan was the producer, the director. I think he did Muriel's Wedding. PJ
Ah.
Hogan.
Oh, great
And I
movie.
met him, and he said, that character is so real. And I said, oh, it's based on my mother. And he said, oh, would your mother like to come and audition for me? 'Cause he really, He wanted somebody older. I said, no.
No, how
And
dare
I
you?
called my mother and she went, Rosie, you're stopping me from having another career.
Uh,
I could really be in the movies.
You could do
But
it.
he wanted someone older than me. I go, no, I'll just play her.
yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks
So
It's
I
called
played
acting.
her. Yeah, I played her in that movie. And that was like my first big thing because here I am in a scene with Julia Roberts. And
Mhm.
I remember it was taking so long to do. I had a pin cushion, a wrist pin cushion,
Mhm.
and I spelled out help in my pins. In my pins. But I was pinning the bottom of the dress and I was accidentally pinning her toes. Did not go
Oh.
over that well.
So we hear sometimes that people get, put in a box, pigeonholed.
Oh.
We've certainly been put in some sort of cat box, I
Mhm.
think.
Yes.
Ooh,
And,
an actual litter box? No.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
That's what it feels like.
So you had been this sketch comedian, and so people weren't like, oh, we can't see her for this because she's a sketch comedian. But once you had the seamstress,
Oh.
they say, oh, now she can do this.
Well,
Right.
maybe. I think the order of things went, I got cast in a television series called Johnny Bago, which was
I
an
remember this.
ex-mafia wife turned parole officer
Mhm.
Oh,
who
sounds
chases her husband
fantastic.
around the country. I was in a play in Chicago, in a Neil Simon play, and I loved it because it's like have a steady equity job. And
Mhm.
Sure.
on stage was great. I was playing Aunt Gert in Lost in Yonkers. I
Oh,
loved
God.
it. And then this thing came up, so I made a VHS tape. Remember, I'm really 62. There were VHS,
VHS,
tapes,
sure.
kids, for anyone
We're not
listening
far
to this.
behind. We're not kids.
Yes. So I did that and I got cast in an 8-episode series
Wow.
off a VHS
Oh,
tape.
wow, this
Wow.
lady.
So that was a mafia wife. And it got down between me and Morgan Fairchild. It was
Whoa.
Morgan
they were
Fairchild.
really
She was supposed to be a mafia wife from Brooklyn.
looking
And
at
I think Robert Zemeckis wanted, I heard Morgan Fairchild. And I was like, well, I'm
Oh.
never going to get this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then I somehow did.
Goes to show.
So I did that 8-episode series and I didn't want to live in LA. I didn't like it
Mm.
here. So I shot that and then I went back to Chicago and did another play and more shows and stuff like that.
But you did end up back here.
Then I ended up back here. But
Yeah.
I came back and forth for 7 years before I
Okay,
decided to
before
move.
you did it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what did you did you just get peace with living in LA or did you
Do you know all my friends ended up here? It was like one of those things where if I wanted to have a social life, Chicago had emptied out of people my age range.
They were
Mm.
here.
So I was like, yeah, I better
Mhm.
go
Yeah.
there. And I had, I had such talented friends to like hang out with. And when I first got here, like Susie Nakamura and,
Yeah.
and it was just really fun. I lived with her. And then I borrowed her car actually to go to the Gilmore Girls audition.
Mm.
Let's
at
hear
Warner
about
Brothers.
the Gilmore Girl
Yes, let's
audition.
hear
I
about it.
I do want to hear that, but I want to say one thing because that's how I know her.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that I moved her from Chicago
Oh,
to here.
that's
Uh-huh.
right.
I was that's what I was doing.
right.
I was working a
How
moving
did you
company.
That's
then.
right.
I had my in a truck.
I knew you looked
okay.
familiar to me. And you were upset that because I didn't have an elevator in the building. I remember that.
Yeah, I had to haul up a lot of couches on
Right,
my own.
right.
Yeah.
You had no helper.
No, I
No.
never
Never.
moved stuff myself.
Couches you moved.
Yeah, you gotta if you have enough tarps and like
Okay.
things, you can
Wow.
move anything because you just put it on.
You know,
the top
I
and
had
you
that
pull it up.
plaster elephant end table that never ended up here. So I wondered if do you remember seeing that?
Uh-oh,
And I filed a complaint with it, but they never found it.
Yeah, I mean, you filed the complaint with me because I ran the whole company. I just
Oh,
had different fake
you
names,
were-
so it
that's
seemed like a
right.
bigger company.
So
So
That's-
she
okay.
loves elephants.
I do love elephants.
That's
So
interesting,
I'm
'cause I did.
thinking now maybe I could be reunited with my elephant end
well, we'll see. You know what? We're gonna see. We'll see how many listens we get on
I
this
did see
podcast.
you.
All
I
right.
did see you post a picture of you.
And in the background was
Yeah.
Well,
eating-
There's
you
no
know,
way to know.
see-
There's tons of what she's talking about. There's tons of them. They're
Well,
everywhere.
My mother hand painted that one. So
Oh.
Well,
that didn't-
gosh.
but
That's
I
why it's
should have,
so special.
I blame myself because I really should have bubble wrapped it and taken it in the car.
There you
So
go.
I
That's,
didn't.
sometimes
left
I
it up
am.
to the
I am a
movers.
person who likes to teach a lesson.
Right.
Oh.
I get it.
So
I get it.
All right, so let's get back to the Gilmore Girls
Yes.
question about the audition.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
So I went to Warner Brothers. So I had gone a year prior to audition for Suki, the chef on the
Now,
show.
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Was a year prior? So does that mean then the show's been airing for a year, or
No.
they were auditioning for
no,
a
I
year?
think it might have been the pilot. It was
Mm.
so much earlier.
Then they actually shot it.
I think I might have auditioned for the pilot
Interesting.
for Suki.
Okay.
Yes, because it hadn't been cast. And I think Alex Borstein played Suki, and then they recast it, and
Oh,
then
wow.
Melissa ended up playing
Right.
it.
And then Alex Borstein had a
Yeah,
lot of
different
parts.
roles in it,
Yeah.
right.
And you said you
Alright.
brought miniature.
So I
food.
brought miniature food. That's such a gimmick. Like, I don't even know why I did that because she's a chef. So the casting directors at the time became much more interested in my miniature food than my read for Suki.
Wow.
So they were like, no, she's not right for that. So I forgot all about Gilmore Girls. So now it had already been airing, I think, a season. And here it is
Oh.
season 2, maybe 3. The fans
Mm.
would know better than me. when Gypsy finally, but the show had been on for a while. So it said auto mechanic. And then in the room, I was like, these people, I recognized people from TV that I went, oh my God, I'm never going to get this. And in the audition scene, she says, I miss my home. And I thought, I miss my home. That's a person that's not from this country.
Right.
Because she didn't say, oh, I miss my house. I don't know. There was something about I miss my home that I thought her name's Gypsy. She should have a foreign accent.
Yes.
So I gave her an accent of indeterminate origin. And they told me that's how that I had the edge over other people.
Yeah.
But Amy Sherman-Palladino had cast me in a pilot that ended up never airing. And I didn't realize, I never put it together till way later. She wrote something called Love and War. And they called and said, oh, you're being flown out to test for Love and War. And they gave me the airline ticket. And then 10 minutes later called back and went, we don't need you.
Oh.
So it was like, that's the kind of roller coaster
Yes.
this business
Oh.
really,
Yes.
This business
So then I
is
put it
tough.
together and went, oh, wait, she created Gilmore Girls. So she remembered me, I guess, from
Wow.
Yes.
the earlier
Okay.
thing.
Well, that's good
Yeah.
to remember.
But so
Right.
the roller coaster, I mean, so many questions handling the roller coaster. But then you get on the show. Also, I've seen your miniature food sculpting. Everyone needs to go look because it's a real.
Where can you get it? On
real work
Instagram
of
or
art.
something?
I
You
have
sell them on
some
Etsy?
posted. If you go way back into quarantine months on Instagram,
Oh yeah.
at Rose Abdoo.
I bet you were just making little mini food
That's
like crazy.
all I
What
did.
else were you
yeah,
doing?
it was
Yeah.
like I got
Sure.
really into making animals driving,
That's
like a bunny driving a carrot.
that's what I was
you
gonna
know,
say.
Wow.
A chicken driving
You
an ear
love
of corn.
figurines.
I mean, well,
It's crazy.
I'll be honest. Our intern is the person over here. She's obsessed with me.
She,
And one
Yeah,
day she
that's
tried
what
to
she thinks.
decorate our area with a
Oh.
bunch of little figurines, which I was not into, but it did make me go down the rabbit hole of figurines. And I thought, well, I don't like these, but what do I like? Weirdly, vegetables.
vegetables.
Things made up, vegetables made
Well,
like
she's
into little, like a
vegan.
vegetable, like a carrot person
Oh,
or a celery
nice.
person, stuff like that.
Well, I've got a raccoon driving an avocado with your name on it.
Oh.
I would
this is a
love that.
match made in
Wow.
heaven.
That
So
I would
you,
like.
you make these out of clay
Out of
and
clay.
little tools, and you fire them in a kiln.
Yeah, I just use a straight pin with a ball, a little pearl on the end of it. I have
Wow.
a variety of straight
I'm going to be
pins.
posting today when I get home
Okay.
about it.
I can't wait.
But so, what was the experience of working on the Gilmore Girls?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
as we know, everybody's listening. People watch this show, including myself and
Over
my son,
and
over
over
and
and
Yeah,
over
and then new
nice.
generations
Mhm.
find
I
it.
know.
That I love
Yeah.
to hear that. I love
And
to hear that.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
7
Yeah.
of my 12 children are engrossed at
Yeah.
any given time.
At
That's
Gilmore
so
Girls.
nice.
And you allow it because it's pretty wholesome.
It's pretty wholesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they're not bothering me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I love doing it. And I, at the time, thought I'm not a mechanic. I didn't realize it was going to recur as many times. So I think over the course of 7 seasons, I think I'm in 23 of them or something like that.
you're a part of
So
the
it was
town.
really part of the town.
Part of
yeah.
the
And
town, part of
I'm
the town.
so honored to be part of the town because the fans, they're the nicest people.
Oh.
Like we had a fan festival in the town that inspired the Gilmore
Wow.
Girls.
Ooh,
It's
where is
in
that?
Connecticut, Washington
Oh.
Depot. It's a
I
weird
want to
name,
go.
but it has the gazebo. Like it's so cute.
Mm.
And there was a fan fest there. And I kept meeting people of like, I watched it with my mother. And now my daughter and I watch it together. You know, there's a
Mhm.
lot of Lorelai
Oh,
Rory's
that's nice.
Mm.
age people
Mhm.
that came. And it was so much fun to meet the fans and realize that, oh, Gypsy, like they knew my line. I mean, it was so
Yeah.
flattering
Wow.
that they
Yeah.
would know.
And you're from Motor City. So,
Auto
I mean,
mechanic,
there was
right.
some sort of car. thing.
Right.
It was a unique character. You were like overall.
Yes, I did. And they used, I've said this before, that in the world of TV, they thought motor oil would be too gross. So they used A1 steak sauce, which is so disgusting.
Much grosser.
I mean,
So
to have
sticky.
to smell that.
Oh my God, I
Oh.
can never smell A1 steak sauce.
Now, did
to
you
this
have to
day.
learn mechanic moves? Did you have to
A couple
actually learn?
things.
She'd have
I'm
to
Mechanic
roll out
moves?
I
from
did. I
under.
had to roll
I'm
out.
surprised you didn't train her.
I think
Because
I was
you've
probably
done-
on another show at that
They
point.
probably reached out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a detective for a long time.
Oh,
a police
right.
detective.
Of
So
She
course.
trained Melissa Fumero.
yeah, on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I'm often on set doing, training people to
Of
look
course.
like real police officers.
Mhm.
you
Well,
know?
they trained me to roll out. You know, you have to have better abs than I do to roll out over and over again on the little dolly that
Yeah.
goes under the car. But I remember one time there's an episode where the car crashes through the diner
Yep.
window.
Mm.
So there wasn't a lot of room under the car. And they were like, Rose, get under there. And I was like, you get under there and show me how you do it. And then I'll get under it.
yeah.
And of course, there was no room. It would have been like this
Yeah,
close
no
to
one
my
could do
nose.
it.
Right.
So they ended up, raising it up on some bricks. The other thing that happened was, you know how props people, they had air fresheners, those little car tree-shaped
Sure.
air
Mhm.
fresheners. They came at me with like 7 of them on a string. So Gypsy was going to wear
Mm.
Oh,
a
that's
necklace
sticky.
of
Come on.
air fresheners. He said, well, when I made it, I couldn't take the plastic off them, and then we had to leave it in another room. And I go, and yet you're handing it to me to wear all day. And I go, why don't you go to the Xerox machine and color copy some trees and make one out of cardboard?
Yeah.
And it's the only time, 2 times I had to stick up for myself of like, I'm not wearing something that your eyes would water.
Oh, it's
Like
Yes.
one
awful.
tree is
Yeah.
impossible to be in the car
Yeah.
with. And they
Yeah.
wanted me to wear like 9 of them around my neck all day. But the other time there was a knitting episode. The fans know this so much better than I do. But I just remember the knitting episode and I'm sitting there in a sweater. It was always 1,000,000 degrees in real life when we were trying to pretend it's fall and cozy.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
We
yeah.
were sitting there outside. And Laura and Graham walked by me and she went, oh, they made you wear that sweater? I said, no. And 2
Oh.
seconds later, Melissa walked by Asuki. She goes, oh, they made you wear that sweater? I said, no. Like 3 different people went, no, I'm not wearing that. It was this itchy wool,
Oh,
whatever you see me in.
no.
And I didn't complain about it and I did wear it. But they both rejected the itchy
As
sweater.
they should. and
As they
probably
should.
You should
They
have
were
as well.
much
yeah.
smarter than me. Oh,
Wow.
so the only time I ever put my foot down was the tree air freshener. So
Right.
if you see me in the episode that I think the town smells like rotten eggs, I can't remember what's
Yes,
happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it smells, and so I wear to kill the smell. Gypsy
Yeah.
wears the car air freshener.
Wow. I would love to jump to hacks for a second, even though there's a billion things in between, because I don't watch a ton of TV.
Okay.
I'm not interested. You know,
Okay.
I don't
Mm.
love it. But I do like this show.
You do like hacks.
I like hacks.
Oh, good.
Because I like so many things about it, but I like that Jean Smart, we're
Right.
very similar.
Yes.
Very, we're going to get it done.
Hmm.
We don't care who we take down,
Okay.
So
So you are like Deborah Vance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I could see
will.
that.
Yeah, it's
So are
like,
you
I'll get
nice
to,
to
the
your
top.
assistants and stuff?
I can be nice to my assistants,
Okay.
but I'll step on
Think
almost
so?
anyone to get to what I
Mm.
need to do.
I see.
Yeah,
Mm.
and
Wow.
these 2 are reaping the benefits.
Well,
Are
you do organize things.
Yeah, that's right. I do.
Mm.
Do you all travel together? I wanted to know.
We
that.
will be. We'll be hitting the road soon for some
Oh, that's fun.
Engagements.
engagements.
Now, when you travel together, do you each need your own rooms and stuff?
Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
But we've been put in the one room together with a queen bed because that's what she set up.
Yeah.
And then she gets this suite.
I get a suite.
Yeah.
I like
We-
a king.
we
bed.
do.
I like
We
to
need
spread
our
out.
own rooms. Do we have them? No.
Oh, I
No, we
see.
don't.
So how is that sharing a bathroom together?
I mean,
I mean, she has a lot of products, and
Yeah.
sometimes we do share products.
Yeah.
It's not sometimes.
Well, you both have beautiful skin. You must share moisturizers then.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I am 100% Estee Lauder.
Oh,
Well, when
all
I
right.
first met her, her skin was crusting off. She was so dry because her husband is
was.
very attracted to extreme elderly people. People
That's
in there
right.
Well,
above,
that
it has
comes
to
in
be above
handy.
85.
That kind of comes in handy, though.
Yeah, I
You know,
guess.
it
I
does, but
didn't
I'm also
like it.
trying to make it in this industry, so
Oh, I
it's
see.
very,
So I give her
can,
Vaseline,
Otherwise, my
Oh.
competition is
Wait,
food.
hold on. What do you give her?
the tub of Vaseline.
Oh, is that?
Are you trying to say
a-
Vaseline?
I'm not trying to say that would be the wrong way to pronounce it. It's called Vaseline. Vaseline.
It's
That would
kind of
be
nice.
two
It
words.
seems like it's baseline, but for your
That's right.
skin.
That's
a
right. Vaseline. You
I-
want your wrinkles to be as smooth as a vase. That's why it's
Oh,
called that.
Okay.
That's
I'm
right.
going to
Some
get into
vases
that.
are
So
Yeah.
mad.
Cracked.
I'm so mad.
I
can't
heard you're supposed to
speak.
put it on your hands and then put gloves on to go
Yes.
to sleep.
Yeah.
Baseline. I'm going to get some of
I
that.
put a big ball of it on my heel
Okay.
and then sometimes stuff it into my shoe.
Oh.
Wendy
Gotta get
does
that
this.
clip
Our,
on.
our guest Wendy does.
McClendon?
Ian McClendon coffee.
Coffee.
She puts it on her face.
Yeah.
Yes.
She does have
right?
beautiful
What does she
skin.
have?
She has
She
beautiful
has a
skin.
name for
Beautiful.
it.
Slugging.
Slugging.
Yeah, you slug.
Oh,
Yeah,
good one.
keep-
All right, I'm getting
keep
good
all the
tips here.
moisture
I
in.
knew you would know.
I don't think you should change anything you're
No,
doing.
you-
Oh
Everything
gosh,
is
thank
perfect.
you. I think
Your
it's your
skin is
ring light,
gorgeous.
but thank
Mhm.
you.
She's
Thank
lucky.
you.
She's got a lot of ethnicities.
I
That
do.
helps. That helps.
Nice.
So how did you come to be on Hacks?
Yeah.
On Hacks. So I got that audition, and I thought it was the best pilot I'd ever read.
Yeah.
And it was called the Untitled Jean Smart Project. So I thought, well, if she's attached to it, I want to be in it no matter
Mhm.
what, because I was such a fan of hers. And most recently, I had seen her in probably Fargo or
Sure.
Mm,
something.
So great.
And so I auditioned for it, but my representation was like, you told us to stop sending you on things where you had to be a housekeeper.
Mm.
But I said,
Mm.
she's more than a housekeeper. She's the house manager.
Yeah.
Like I
Mhm.
saw her as more, I've said this, but it's Carson on Downton Abbey. I
Mm.
saw her
Oh
as
my
like
gosh.
Totally.
running the
Yes.
home, you
She
know?
Yes, I
is,
love
yeah.
Carson.
So I auditioned for it, but it was this scene with the water where I say, we have, Coke, Diet Coke, lemonade, aqua, and then she asks for water and I go, we have Perrier, aqua, and the Aquapana is the best. I just loved that they listed all those beverages.
Uh-huh.
So the first day they were like, we're going to cut that down. And I went, no, please. That's what attracted me to this. They go, "Oh, Rose, did you love it that much?" And I said, No, I really need to list all these beverages. Please don't cut that. What
Yeah.
you wrote was hilarious." So
That's
they were like,
funny.
"Oh, all right, if you want to do it." They're very collaborative. So I did, and I'm so glad because
Yeah.
to me that's one of my favorite things.
It's kind of what anchored you as who
I
this
feel like
person
it's
is.
it,
Yeah.
you know so much about both the person who owns the house and the person that works for her
Yeah.
by the list of beverages,
Yes.
in my
Oh,
opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yes,
more like
absolutely.
I think of you're almost like the executive of the home
That's
because
right.
it's way beyond being any kind of a house.
Thank you.
This-
Yes, I
that
agree.
woman in that house isn't scrubbing a single toilet.
No,
That's
no,
not what
no,
she
exactly.
does.
And she doesn't. If you see the people that work there, they have khakis and a polo shirt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Josefina doesn't dress like that. And I also told the creators, they wrote, I'm just taking my cue off what they created. I said, you had her sitting on the bed when she's going through her closet.
Mhm.
And Josefina sits on the bed and says, I'm just here for a blazer.
Mhm.
So that's a very intimate thing to do,
Yeah.
is to sit on
They're
your
buddies.
employer's
Yeah.
bed. So
Yeah.
they've known each other forever.
Yeah.
In my
Yeah.
mind, they've known each other for the longest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love
Mhm.
doing it.
She's seen everything.
That's right.
So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to bring her back
Yeah.
Oh, I'd
at
love
some
to come
point.
back.
It's what we're gonna have to
There's
do.
so much more
Alright.
to speak.
There's so much more to
about.
speak on.
Mm.
But again, you
A
got
two-parter?
Yeah,
I'm so flattered.
subscribe to our Patreon,
All right.
Mhm.
and you'll get to hear a little bit more.
Okay.
But you gotta subscribe.
And if you subscribe to our Patreon, there might be even more behind the scenes of Gilmore Girls and Hacks and all of our
Oh.
other shows.
Okay.
And there might also be an opportunity to purchase a tote.
Oh wow.
A tote bag.
Oh, I love a
Mm.
tote bag.
Okay.
That's my favorite style of purse.
Is it
Mhm.
well? You have
I
something
have a
like
tote.
tote,
And this is a beachy looking tote, but I
Mhm.
liked
I
it,
like it.
and I thought, it's August. It's good.
It's still
we're
beachy.
we're okay, but we're nearing the end of the summer
yeah, it's
season
almost
to
over.
wear
So
it. Yeah,
really
it's-
have fun.
that's-
Have fun with it while you
that's the
can.
thing. I had to carry it while I could.
Yeah.
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 After Labor Day.
But is it
Forget
really
it.
time to go?
I think in LA it's different because it's hot still.
Oh, right.
You know, so
But
I
I
feel
think
like
she means the podcast.
I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
thought we were talking about the bag. All right. Well,
But
it
we
is really
have-
time to go.
we have
But
two
here's
things.
we have two things.
We have to
I know
play
one
an
thing.
improv game.
Okay,
Oh,
so
fun.
then let's do the first thing. The
Okay.
first thing is, you better have one ready to go
Well,
because I don't.
okay.
Okay, so she kind of asked, she kind of ruined our last question by
Yeah.
asking you earlier, but maybe you can expand on, people are trying to make it in this business, and you move here and it's hard, right?
Yeah.
So what advice do you give to someone maybe moving out here trying to make it in acting and
Well,
what
I
do they
think
do?
things have changed so much since I started
Yeah.
that people can now have their own, YouTube channel or make some
Mm.
TikTok videos or do. I
Mhm.
think the trend is now to become super popular with your online presence, and then then they sit up and take notice of like,
Right.
wait, who's
Mhm.
getting all these
Doing your own thing.
doing your own thing? I
Yeah.
think that's
Mhm.
more popular than ever.
Which is kind of what you did, but you did it on stage.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now you
exactly.
get to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't have to. No one has to cast you.
Right.
To make stuff.
Yeah.
For
That's right.
yourself.
I was trying to explain. My mother's 97. I was trying to
Mm.
explain to her what Facebook is or what
Mm.
Instagram is, and I said, "Mom, just imagine like I put up a post about you and 1,000 people. I said that's like 1,000 people coming to a show. I mean, if
Mhm.
it's a video, then
Sure.
it's like
Right.
she couldn't even conceptualize
Yeah.
it. You know,
Mhm.
I mean,
It's
it
a
really
bizarre
isn't. It's
world we live
incredible,
in.
really.
Well, she's
All
from
right.
the
Yeah.
days of covered wagons.
That's right.
and
I'm not sure.
Covered
That's-
wagons.
She's 96
correct.
years old.
She's
She's
not-
part of the Pilgrims.
She's
No.
well,
No.
she's
You
a
were
little after the
A little bit
pilgrims,
after.
but-
you were in a mountain cave or something when
Well,
we learned
right.
that.
What improv game do you want to play?
Okay.
Okay.
This is a really.
They're trying to learn improv, and they're very
Oh.
bad at it because, especially this one,
Oh.
doesn't. She really wants to do her own thing.
She does. Okay.
Mhm.
So,
So there's not a lot of yes-anding going
Right.
on. Just be ready.
and there's
Okay.
no I in ensemble.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right.
And this is Second City,
Right, Second
royalty
City
here.
knows.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. What about one word story?
Oh, I
We
don't know.
go
I need a
around-
refresher course in that.
We each say a word and it
Okay.
creates a story.
I like that.
One
Yeah.
word at a time. Are you going to start?
Let's
Sure.
give it a
Okay.
shot.
Which-
But
let's go this
I
way.
have learned from last time a little bit how to make it better. You don't want to just all of a sudden jump to and then the aliens came.
That's right.
Mhm.
Has to
Yeah.
make
Right. Well,
sense.
and actually you can't because it's one word.
Well,
So when you do that, you're breaking all the rules, which is what you do.
But you can't have an idea of like when it's my turn, I'm gonna say aliens.
well, I might.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Once
There
Was
A
alien
named
Joe.
who
loved
socks
So
Joe
went
to
Target
and
purchase
a lot
of
sucks.
Yay!
Wow,
It
I
really
s-
was good.
good for you because
I
I
was
saw
on the
you
edge of my
desperately
seat. Oh,
wanting to
barely
just,
I really
breathing.
wanted him to like invade somebody.
yeah.
Oh,
Right, you have to go where the story goes.
I did it this
Yeah.
time.
I feel like because you had Rose here, you wanted to impress her.
I feel like
Yeah.
I didn't add much to the story. But
Sometimes
Oh,
you got to
no,
say
it
ands
was
and
perfect.
because the
do.
story needs it.
Gotta
That's
be a
right.
team player.
That was
Okay, guys,
perfect.
we want to give a round of applause to Rose Abdoo, but please listen to the
Thank you.
Patreon because so much more juice is coming.
So
Oh,
much
thank
juice
you
is
for
gonna
you.
get loose.
I had
Thank
so
you,
much
fun.
Rose.
Thank you.
Okay.
From Second City, and we are now so gun shy on never ever tell anyone you did
Yeah.
something until after it's practically you're getting residuals for it.
Right.
Because it is like
Because you never know what's going to happen.
no,
with
and
it.
it's like there's 2 or 3 stories in the group of going invite everybody over, make spaghetti. We're all gonna watch my episode of blah blah blah, and then you're just not in it, and you're
Oh,
just like,
no.
oh god. So it hasn't happened to me, but it's a cautionary tale because I've seen it happen to other
Yes.
people.
Multiple Talking Women is produced and hosted by Ariane Price, Lauren Burns, and Lisa Sherga. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on all podcast platforms, and become a member of our Patreon. All right, am I done?